Hello. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. JLR investigates. Come on in, everyone. Come on. Come on in. Come on in. Everyone, come on in. And we have OJ. Yes, OJ. Do-do-do-do. Hello. Look, we're live. We're live. She just plopped down. She wants to listen to JLR live, just like you guys want to listen to what is going on live. We are live. We're going to talk about Delphi, Indiana, Richard Allen case, Fran Gull, Abby and Libby. What's going on with this case? Looks like the Supreme Court has set a deadline. Come on in, folks. Hope everyone had a great week. Hope everyone's going to have a great weekend. It is Friday night, 11/10/2023. The month is a third of the way over. It's almost Thanksgiving, folks. This tragedy, as far as Richard Allen being arrested, like about a year ago, year and some change, when he got arrested. So they've been going through the process for a year now. Ups and downs, twists and turns on that roller coaster, the Delphi, Indiana, Richard Allen roller coaster. The highs and the lows and the twists and turns and the loops. We're in the loop. All right, so I made a little intro. I'm going to share my intro. My moderator whipped this up for me when I was in Delphi, and I put all these pieces together. I had like a gimbal camera. So check it out. We're doing an intro. We're going to talk about this case. Here we go. Two innocent females off this trail. I am covering this case extensively. I'm going to walk this trail. I'm going to walk this trail. I'm going to go down by the river where the bodies were found. I am studying this case, analyzing Richard Allen. Justice for the victims and their families. I'm walking the trail. There you go. My intro. Huh. Pretty cool. And I walked the trail. And I walked down the trail. And I walked on the bridge. And I walked down the hill. And I walked around the corner. And I walked along the road where I believe Richard Allen walked. I walked to the CPS. Walked all over the place. Walked to the courthouse. So, Richard Allen, Delphi, is he the guy or is he not the guy? That is the question. He could still be the guy, but we could still have all this other craziness going on. We don't know what really happened behind closed doors between Fran Gull, judge, outsider judge, comes in, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We don't know anything about what transpired behind closed doors between her and the Richard Allen defense and the prosecution, Carroll County prosecutor, McClelland. We don't know. But it looks like Judge Fran Gull has to explain to a higher up. You see, in life, there's always chain of commands. Judge Gull sits on that bench, a judge, and they have ultimate power within that courtroom, right? They control everything. They can control a lot. Actually, you have to honor and respect the judges in the courtrooms, like decorum, right? But those judges in those courts always have to answer to a higher judge. In cases like this, Gull, appellate judge, state Supreme Court, and then maybe eventually to the U.S. Supreme Court. But the state Supreme Court of Indiana is giving Fran Gull an ultimatum and saying to her, you must provide the court transcript on what transpired between you and Richard Allen's former defense attorneys, Mr. Bradley and Mr. Rosen. Something happened. So according to this news report, come on in everyone, happy Friday. According to this news report, Indiana Supreme Court orders Delphi murders trial judge to turn over court transcript or explain why she shouldn't. Attorneys representing Richard Allen say he is deteriorating in state prison and wants to go to trial as soon as possible. Interesting. What do we got here, folks? The Indiana Supreme Court has ordered the Delphi murder case special judge Fran Gull to provide a transcript of the in-chambers proceeding October 19th when Richard Allen's attorneys say they were coerced to resign. Would love to hear that. But is there a transcript? Because, it's in chambers. Does it mean in chambers? Does it get recorded or not? She might come back and reply that it was not recorded. That's what I'm thinking. Allen is accused of killing Libby, 14, and Abby, 13, in Delphi. Long time ago, folks. This February will be 7 years. Took many, many years for an arrest in this case. Is Richard Allen the guy? Or is he not the guy? That is the question. There is people out there that speculate he's not the guy, while there's a lot of people that speculate he is the guy. As part of the Indiana Supreme Court's order, it gave Gull until November 16th to provide an in-chambers transcript or respond to why she does not want to provide it. Gull responded with a filing asking the Indiana Supreme Court for an extension until November 27th to respond to the transcript request. As part of that, she also wants until November 27th to respond to Allen's attorney request that she be removed from the case and Allen's original attorneys reinstated. And some of this we've already know, but there is some stuff. And I'm going to read this particular thing right here. I'm going to read this. Gull cites needing more time because the Indiana Attorney General has declined to represent her. And she had to hire her own attorney to defend this writ of mandamus against her. Attorneys representing Allen are asking the court to not grant that extension, arguing Allen is deteriorating in state prison and wants to go to trial as soon as possible. They also said Gull knew in advance this writ of mandamus and transcript request was coming, giving her attorney ample time to prepare a response. So they figure this. If you grant Fran Gull an extension, that delays Richard Allen's trial. Though Richard Allen's new defense attorneys said on the record October 31st, Halloween, that they're not ready. They'll need more time. Therefore, the judge in the case, Fran Gull, after the attorneys left, she kicked the can down the road to October of next year, a year out. So, it's already extended. Can you reverse all that by reinstating the prior two attorneys and going back to the scheduled as planned January trial? Because they argue right now, if Fran Gull, who has to respond to all of this, if she asks for an extension, that's depriving Allen of the right to a fair trial. But the extension is only, to the 27th. His trial was scheduled for the January. So, is there harm done there? Kristen Pino says, I can't believe Gull put two defense attorneys from another county. Handpicked, in my opinion. One of them is friends with Gull's on Facebook. Purportedly. Unless you want to say they're fake screenshots. But there's screenshots out there. If you look, Gull is Facebook friends with one of them. The Indiana Public Defender Council is also weighing in on the writ of mandamus, filing a brief addressing the importance of independence of appointed attorneys, especially as it relates to the removal and replacement of counsel. Does the judge have that authority? Allen's civil attorneys, Mark Lehman and Kara Weinecke, previously filed a brief to ensure that going forward, Richard Allen receives his fundamental right to counsel. Hi, Darcy. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's so challenging and complex to me because why should it, I don't know. Why should it defend it? You have a defendant. You have the counsel of your choice. And your counsel does some bonehead things, allegedly, and then gets kicked off. But see, they didn't get kicked off. See, Rosie and Baldwin resigned themselves. And I think that's what's ultimately going to shoot them in the foot on this. They resigned themselves, unless the Supreme Court hears this transcript and hears what goes on, and if it was kind of like a blackmail. Beverly says, we need to listen to what happened. I concur with you, Beverly. Beverly, I agree. We have to listen because that will provide insight of what was really said behind those closed doors. But are they obligated to have it recorded? Because what if Fran Gull replies to this, brief by the 27th? She's going to have a bad Thanksgiving, by the way. You saw the thumbnail at this on this video? Thumbnail. She's going to have a bad Thanksgiving. But it goes. You sign up to be a judge. These type of things happen. What if there is no transcript? Do we know how long the meeting was in chambers? Well, weren't they at that Fort Wayne hearing on the 19th? It was the 19th, right? In Fort Wayne, wasn't it about a half hour delayed? Because I remember it didn't start as scheduled program. And then once it started, it only lasted a few minutes. So it might be fair to say that they were in there maybe for a half hour. Or, they're not going to go in there. It was delayed like a half hour. Maybe it was in there for 40 minutes. So a lot can be said in 40 minutes. In the brief, the attorneys are asking for the following. Reinstate attorneys Baldwin and Rosie as Allen's court-appointed counsel. Set a trial date within 70 days from the issue of the writ of mandamus. Remove Special Judge Francis Gull and appoint a new one. Now, I'm also thinking, if you are two attorneys and you already got kicked off the case, do you have legal standing to ask for a judge to be removed if you got kicked off? Shouldn't you be back first? Somehow use your writ of mandamus to ask to come back first and actually get put back? Can a non-attorney, you follow what I mean? Because they're technically not his attorneys right now. So they're non-parties in the case. Can a non-party have a legal authority to demand a judge be recused from themselves? I'm starting to think maybe they need to be reinstated first. And then once officially reinstated, then they go for the judge recusal. I don't know if a non-party can do that. And that might be an issue too, the Supreme Court might say. They might not have any legal standing. Thank you, Greg. Nice to see you. They might not have any legal standing. See, whenever an outside party wants to be involved with a case, a friend of the court, motion to intervene, you got to intervene to be able to and share why you want to intervene in a case to ask for something to happen. But the judge has to grant that first. I'm not sure an outside party, even though they were once in, but the uphill battles that I think they did was they voluntarily resigned themselves. Though the transcript will say whether it was a, threat or a blackmail or an ultimatum, you resign here, right now, in front of me, or I'm going to resign you in front of the world with cameras. coincidentally there for the first time. And we're not really necessarily talking about Richard Allen's guilt in this segment. We're just talking about the process with the legal team and his right to representation. If you have someone you know that wants to represent you and has a bar is admitted to the bar in that particular jurisdiction, who's the judge to say whether they could be your attorney or not? I don't think they have that authority. Zonia Pry, thank you for being a member and thank you for the support. I see the coffee. Yes, cheers. This one says, love is in the air. I love all of you. Friday night. We're doing a little Friday night talk, entertainment. Trust me, believe me, folks. I analyze these court opinions and these court decisions and scenarios and situations really deeply and try to predict what each, certain side is going to do and how the courts are going to rule on this matter. I personally always been fascinated with the process on how law works. But again, there's always two little weird technicalities. And, did the attorneys file the appropriate, arguments through that writ? An extraordinary writ, that's what it is. Do they have legal standing to ask to be reinstated, a trial date? They want 70 days. A trial date for Richard Allen, but they're not the attorneys right now. Do they have legal standing to do that? Or don't you think it has to be first you be put back on, then you can start asking for other things? Or are they just throwing the kitchen sink? We got a poll. Poll says, should Judge Fran Gull be removed from this case? The majority of you say yes, 86%. 14 say no, she was justified. Me, I think first I want to see what happened, what transpired behind closed doors before I make that determination. But with limited knowledge and knowing the circumstances that come down, I would probably be in the 86% of you, the majority of you thinking she should be removed. For numerous reasons. But I have to see what the allegations are. Mar said, oh, come on, JLR. Not on your side on this one, Mar. I just want to see what the reason why is I saw the Odinist brief and it's wild stuff. And I could understand having an Odinist defense. Or, throwing a defense. But they threw some people under the bus there. And really affected maybe some innocent people's lives. By throwing name dropping. Though, if they're going by what investigators were talking about in the course of investigation, I think that's possibly fair game. If they got investigators' notes and investigators were, in fact, looking into other people at the time, that is kind of fair game. You're not necessarily throwing somebody on the bus. See, it's bad in these type of cases, in civil cases and criminal cases too. Discovery would be, in the discovery phase of a civil case. All that dirt comes out and all that things come out and gets put on the record that a lot of people don't want out there. Happens in a lot of criminal cases. The witnesses. Baggage on the witnesses. The law enforcement officers that investigated the cases. All their baggage gets put out there. Were you investigated by internal affairs 10 years ago? Blah, blah, blah. Did you say some racist thing to this officer? Blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking O.J. Simpson, Mark Furman. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting. Now, this is the actual order here. This was filed on the 9th, so yesterday. This was filed yesterday by the Indiana Supreme Court. And it says, State of Indiana versus Carroll County Court, that would be Judge Fran Gull. On November 6, 2023, we issued an order setting a brief schedule in this matter and ordering any response due by November 16th. And on November 8th, so that was on Wednesday, we issued an order requiring respondents to either respond to relators' motion for transcript or to provide the transcript itself by November 16th. Motion for transcript, folks. On November 9th, we issued an order granting the Indiana Public Defender Council, IPDC, leave to appear as, that means friend of the court, and to file a brief. So, the Indiana Public Defense Council was granted leave to appear as a friend of the court, and then they get to file a brief. Respondents have now filed a motion for extension of time, requesting that the due date to respond to the petition for emergency writ, motion for transcript, and the IPDC's friend of the court brief be extended to November 27th. Relator, by counsel, has filed an objection to the motion. I'm going to show you the objection, because there's an objection. They're filing an objection to this motion to grant extended a time to the 27th. Being duly advised, the court grants respondents motion for extension of time to respond to writ of mandamus and motion for transcript. Respondents' response brief and any supplemental records must be filed directly with the court of the Supreme Court on or before Monday, November 27th. No further request for extension of time will be granted. That's it. Any supplemental record must be submitted in the same format required for the record under Original Action Rule 3C and G. Indiana. Chief Justice Loretta Rush. So is Loretta Rush handling the matter? Who is Loretta Rush anyway? Who in the world is Loretta Rush? So that's it. Get one extension, one bite at the apple. Supreme Court saying no more extensions. You don't get no more. Either party. Get it all out. Man, well, you could get the extension before Thanksgiving. To honor before. But I don't think Fran Gull is going to be eating turkey this year, Thanksgiving, being very thankful. I think this seriously bugs her. Reason, case in point, the Indiana Attorney General, which normally would represent people in this matter, is not representing her. She's on her own. And this required her to get counsel. Now, unclear if she had to actually pay the counsel. Counsel could have been doing it pro bono work. Still, you have to retain your own counsel. Makes me feel like she's being hung out to dry. Indiana Supreme Court Justice Loretta Rush. This is her. This is her who just ordered that. So she probably will be one of the people hearing the case. Loretta Rush. She signed it. Let's see something. She's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. So we got a Scranton-born Pennsylvania judge. She is the Supreme Court judge. Loretta Rush. Chief Justice. Let's see a little bit about her. Education, Purdue, Indiana. Born in Scranton, 65 years old. Loretta Rush is an American lawyer and judge who has served as an associate justice in the Indiana Supreme Court since 2012 and Chief Justice since 2014. She got the Chief Justice hearing this matter. Well, she signed it. She was born in Scranton, settled in Indiana in 1972, and she earned her undergraduate degree from Purdue and from Indiana University, Mahler School of Law in Bloomington. She spent 15 years in general practice as an associate and then partner at the Lafayette, Indiana firm of Dixon Riley, Teeter, and Withard. Her practice consisted of civil litigation, family law, business, personal injury, corporate probate, and workers' compensation cases. Prior to her appointment in the Indiana Supreme Court, she was elected Tippecanoe Superior Court 3 judge and served for 14 years. As juvenile court judge, she assisted with the creation of the county's court-appointed Special Advocate CASA program. She also implemented a certified juvenile drug treatment court, initiated 24-hour assessment center for youth. There you go. And then she's been on the Supreme Court, appointed by Governor Mitch Daniels, 2012. So she's been around. She's not a newbie by any means. I always like to get the education and background and kind of like an understanding of these judges. Very, very interesting. If you want to know about Judge Fran Gull, and you want to know her likes and dislikes, you should check out her Twitter account. She has a Twitter account. She posted maybe last year. She hadn't posted in a year. But she has some interesting following. I'll just say it like that. Check out her followers. Who she follows. Usually who you follow on Twitter is who you kind of like, or the style of people you can relate with. Fran Gull. Fran Gull. What's going to happen with Fran Gull? What do you think's going to happen? And remember, she's a female judge, and she's going in front of the Chief Justice of Indiana Supreme Court, who is also a female judge. Mano to mano. Female to female. Lay it out. But you get the other justices, too, that come into play, too. Will this be televised? After the Indiana Supreme Court has ruled earlier in the year that cameras are allowed in the courtroom now in Indiana, will this be one of those times where they televise this? Interesting, right? Possibly. So, Fran Gull wanted a delay. I want to show you the objection from the defense of Richard Allen for her extension of time to file a response. Even though the courts ultimately ruled that she can get the extension up to the 27th. But let's just show you here. The Gall of Gold. The Guillotine. The Fran Guillotine. 11/9/2023, 10 a.m. in the state of Indiana Supreme Court. Relator's objection to respondent's motion for extension of time. Relator Richard Allen, by counsel Carol Weinecke and Mark Lehman, respectfully object to respondent's request for an extension of time within which to file the response. Relator states the following. And here we go. Here's what they state. Since November 2022, Relator has been confined in the maximum security segregation unit in the DOC, where he has been subjected to conditions that have led to him losing nearly half his body weight and at times experiencing symptoms of psychosis. On several occasions, his trial attorneys requested his move to a better facility. On one of those occasions, attorney Rosie himself arranged for Relator's move to the Cass County Jail, where the Cass County Sheriff agreed to accept Relator, and I was in court. That was like in the late spring. Yet, these repeated requests were denied. Every day that Relator spends in those conditions has a deleterious effect on Relator. I never even heard of that word. Deleterious effect on Relator. Let's move on. Moreover, Relator was set to proceed to trial in January 2024 with a well-developed trial strategy and proffered defense. Yet, due to the actions of the respondents, that trial date has been continued for at least 9 months. Relator is in the state of limbo and cannot move forward until this action is resolved. Undersigned counsel were retained to initiate this original action on November 1st, 2023. Despite their heavy caseload, counsel were able to file this action only 5 days later. Respondents currently have 7 days from the filing of this objection to respond. They kind of threw shade at the judge right there, saying, "Hey, we were able to respond. We just got this November 1st, and we were able to respond. Why can't the defendant or the respondent? Why can't Fran Gull respond in an appropriate time? Why does she need an extension? We didn't need an extension." That's kind of what they said, number 3. During counsel's preparation time, they were denied by the respondents to the ability to obtain one of the transcripts relevant to this action, or even listen to the audio recording from that proceeding. For the other transcripts, the court reporter for respondent refused to accept undersigned counsel's promise of payment by mail, even though they are officers of the court. The court reporter also refused to email electronic copies of transcripts to counsel. This required counsel to physically drive to Allen County and back to obtain the transcripts. So we're saying that, the clerk of court up there was giving them a little bit of problems, or the court reporter, the ones that do all the typing. What's that? I don't know how they can type so fast and hear all that out. But they can do it. Marar says she's intentionally stalling Fran Gull. She's buying time. But remember, the time eventually runs out. You only can stall so much in anything in life. You put to this, it's like me saying I have to mow my lawn. And then I don't mow my lawn. And a week later I say, I got to mow. And then the grass keeps growing. It doesn't go away. Eventually you're going to have to mow your grass. Eventually, Fran Gull's going to have to respond. Can't pull you. You got mortgage or bills or taxes. If you don't pay your property taxes, or you don't pay your mortgage, what happens over time? You can't just keep stalling. You might as well get it over with. If you don't like it, fight it. But avoidance is not really good, because it will catch up to you. It will catch up to you. Finally, respondents were aware relator was filing this action no later than November 2nd, when the court reporter contacted undersigned counsel about the request for an expedited transcript. On November 3rd at 9 o'clock a.m., Deputy Attorney General Angela Sanchez contacted Attorney Weineke and asked how soon relator would be filing the next original action, so that the Attorney General could make arrangements. Attorney Weineke immediately responded that the relator would be filing on Monday morning, that there would be an emergency writ request, and that we had an organization that would be filing an amicus brief, friend of the court. When the original action was filed on the morning of November 6th, relator sent a copy of all pleadings to respondent's counsel, Attorney Gutwein. Wherefore, relator by counsel respectfully objects to respondent's request for an extension of time. Judge ultimately, the Supreme Court Judge Loretta Rush. We got to remember these names, folks. Loretta Rush. When I think of Loretta Rush, I think Loretta Lynch. Remember the former Attorney General of the United States of America, Loretta Lynch. Loretta Rush. Pretty cool last name. Rush. Rush. Hurry up, Fran Gull. Loretta Rush says, rush. Get that in. No more extensions of times, Fran Gull. Extension of time. No more extension of time. You have up to the 27th. Even if you got to do it on the 27th. Eat your turkey, eat your stuffing, eat your cranberries, eat it all the week before on Thursday. Watch your football, watch your Detroit Lions, and, get it in by the weekend. It has to be in. No more stalling. Oh, the irony if she doesn't respond. Imagine if Fran Gull gets sanctioned for doing something wrong. But it seems like the tables have reversed, because the judges usually puts the defendants, attorneys, on the defensive, and they have to answer. Now the judge has to answer for her own actions. Art of deduction. I like that. True crime. I would not be too worried. No reason to stress she did nothing wrong. The defense leaked on purpose. Very interesting. And there's a lot of people that think that, hey, she didn't do nothing wrong. She played it by the book. She actually did them the favor, the defense of the favor, by trying to be nice and saying, hey, you know what you did wrong. I'm trying to help you people. Just resign, dude. Because if you don't, I'm going to have to do it in front of everybody. I'm not trying to get your careers over or anything like that. Just resign and go about your life and continue to do work. But you're not going to work this case anymore. You messed it up too much. This is the third time this kind of stuff happened. Or second time, or whatever. I gave you warnings before. We can't just keep doing this. This was egregious. That people think that kind of like Fran Gull was doing these guys a favor. Mar says no. Big capital letters. No. I get it. That's why for me, I want to hear the sides. I want to hear the sides. I want to hear it. I wish this court hearing, if it is, I wish it would be open to the public. Just look at my community page. Those are the 2 unreleased sketches. So everyone, go to Art of Deduction. It has something on the community page. I'll check it out later, for sure. I'll check it out. We'll see what's going on. I love you guys' opinions, and different people have different opinions on this matter. I remember I was the first one on YouTube to get Mr. Allen's face out there as soon as he got arrested. I was shocked to the core when they threw his name out there. I'm like, who? Huh? And started digging and finding all kinds of stuff on him. I was shocked like that. I swear I thought it was an outsider. Nobody that lived literally in town. Guy was right under their nose. Literally, the Carroll County Sheriff's there is like right across the street from the courthouse. And Richard Allen worked down the street at the CVS within eyesight. Well, we pride ourselves on JLR investigators whenever these big things happen. Soon as the suspect's identified, or even before they're even publicly identified, we identify them based off sleuthing and looking around and hearing the forums, and we put the pieces together and we get the stuff out there before mainstream media. We're pretty good at that. We do it pretty well. We don't always get first, but we get one of the first, and sometimes we are first. But we're going to get better at that. We improve. You ever drink coffee at 9 o'clock at night? Usually people are winding down. We don't got a lot of people in here tonight. Where's everybody at Friday night? Y'all spending time with family? Watching TV, other channels, playing on the internet, playing games, out and about, getting a bite to eat, going to sleep. It's the end of the week. It's supposed to be a lively night. I don't really consider Fridays and Saturdays like weekends to me. Like, for me, I work 24/7. Like, literally no social life. But I enjoy this work. I enjoy getting insight. It makes me smarter, I feel. More understanding of the world, what goes on, events, activating events. Visited your mom at the hospital, Dabs. Sorry your mom is in the hospital, Dabs. Hopefully the hospital is treating your mom well. I haven't been in the hospital. I don't even know what the last time I went to the hospital was when I ate, it was like 5 years ago. I went and ate some Aunt Jemima French toast sticks, and I got sick. And then I actually contacted Aunt Jemima about the French toast sticks. I actually got like food poisoning, but you can't prove that was it. But I know I ate the French toast sticks, and then I got food poisoning. And then I contacted Aunt Jemima because they had an alert out saying that this certain batch of French toast sticks were tainted. And so Aunt Jemima sent their hazmat team to my house with plastic bags and collected the rest of the French toast sticks. Pretty wild stuff. That was the last time I was at the hospital. Like 5 years ago. Knock on wood. Hopefully I don't have to return. Hospitals are cold. I live pretty far from a hospital. I live on the coast. The hospital's very far. If I had an emergency, it'd take me a minute to get there. Who did it? Here's the poll. 1 minute in. Richard Allen, 62%. The Odinist, 19%. Odinist and Ron Logan, 19%. Ron Logan, 0%. Why don't we add Keegan Klein to the mix? I still think Keegan Klein was part of this. Hey, I gotta brush this off. I got a cat hair roller. I'm gonna utilize it more. I don't know. Keegan Klein, if you're sitting there talking to one of the victims on the internet, I don't know. I don't know. He claims he gave some jailhouse interview and claimed that he doesn't even know Richard Allen, like an older guy. He lived down the street from each other when Allen used to live in Peru, very shortly. Drop your email and let me convince these people. My email is jlr@jlrinvestigates. Love to hunt, says Richard Allen and a few others. You can machine wash that cat. I know, I gotta do it. I got other cats. I like this one though. It's a pretty cool one. All right, everyone, I'm signing off. Good night. We'll talk later, and I'll keep you informed of what's going on. Been pumping out videos, with all the cases today, paying attention. I'm really, oh, one more thing. Forgot about this. Always somebody started a change.org petition on Fran Gull. Always got to read the petition. Not many signatures on it, though. 29 signatures. 29 signatures on change.org. Demand Judge Fran Gull's recusal for violating Sixth Amendment rights. And this petition is started by an individual named Dustin Barney. And Dustin Barney says, this case is deeply personal to me, as it should be for every United States citizen. The trial of Richard Allen in Delphi has taken a troubling turn. Presiding Judge Fran Gull has seemingly disregarded the fundamental principles of the Constitution, specifically the Fourth and Sixth Amendment rights. Judge Gull has dismissed Richard Allen's lawyer without any filings or hearings, an action that appears to be based solely on her own opinions rather than legal protocol. This is not only a violation of Richard Allen's rights, but also sets a dangerous precedent for all citizens whose right to fair representation in court is enshrined in our Constitution. The Sixth Amendment guarantees the right of criminal defendants, including the right to a public trial without unnecessary delay, the right to a lawyer, the right to an impartial jury, and the right to know who your accusers are and what they will say at trial. In this case, these rights seem blatantly ignored. We cannot stand by while such violations occur within our justice system. We must demand that Fran Gull recuse herself from this case due to her actions that have compromised its fairness and integrity. The petition seeks justice not just for Richard and Matthew Allen, but also aims at preserving our constitutional rights as United States citizens. Please sign this petition if you believe in upholding these fundamental principles upon which our nation was built. So Change.org always puts out these interesting things, right? I don't think it will go anywhere. I don't think any citizen can change anything in reference to a judge. They were doing it on the Kohlberger stuff too. 29 signatures. So if you're interested in it and you believe in it, sign it. Sign it. So I'm JLR Investigates. I'm signing off. I am tired. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Be safe. Love your loved ones. Lock your doors tonight. And stay vigilant, everyone. Good night. We'll talk soon. We'll talk tomorrow. I'll be back on in the morning. We got more cases. Lots more to talk about. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Love you all. Thank you for the support. And we'll see you soon. Peace.